A couple questions specifically referenced things that Mr. Smith may have said. There has not been any testimony of what Mr. Smith has said, so I'm going to strike those questions. Any answers that you may have heard in response to those questions, I'm also going to have you strike those responses, as that individual has not testified. So if you have anything in your notes, you are to disregard those from your notes, and those cannot be used later on in your deliberations. All right, State, you can proceed.
Thank you, Judge. In your review of the videos, is it your position that Justin Smith deployed pepper spray on this night?
I don't know if he actually, when you say deployed, did he take it out and have it in his hand? Yes. I didn't see through the review of the video that was any discharge from that particular canister. That's all I could really testify to.
At what point did you see that in the video?
Well, I couldn't, from memory, tell you exactly what the number was, exactly what place, but it would have been prior to Officer Mills actually striking Mr. Nichols with his baton.
We mentioned briefly that officers would have a duty to intervene if another officer used excessive force in their presence, correct?
That's correct. There are conditions, obviously, when that would occur or how that would occur.
Officers would also have, you would agree with me, officers have a basic level of medical training to give a certain amount of medical care on a scene.
Yeah, when you refer to basic, I mean, that's pretty basic what a regular officer on the street or patrol officer would have.
They also have a duty to provide what level of care they can to someone who needs that care. Would you agree with that?
Based on their experience and basically what their knowledge is.
When we were watching that sort of what I'll call animated video, you made that?
I didn't make it. I assisted in the making of that, yes.
Who paid for that to be done?
It wasn't me, it was somebody else. I have no idea.
The animation, while cool, sort of turns the whole scene into a vacuum, right? We're only seeing Justin Smith and Tyre Nichols, right?
Well, it's individualized, that's correct. It does not include everybody because you could not see everybody in that animation and get it programmed to do what we were trying to do, is show what Justin Smith was doing.
But then it's at least 3 other officers on the scene, right? We only see Justin, but we know that Mills was on the scene, right?
Yes,
Bean was on the scene,
yes,
and Martin,
yes,
all actively participating.
yes.
When you testified about what's it called, an iron wrist lock? What's an iron wrist lock?
It's not my term, it's MPD's term. It apparently is a technique where the handcuff is encircled on the wrist, and then as the handcuff is pressed against the hand, pressure is applied, especially with a double lock, they call a hinged cuff. You use the frame of the handcuff to press up against the wrist bone and the nerve ending, either on the upper part or lower part of the wrist.
And you said it's not your term, it's an MPD term. You found that term in the Memphis Police Department training materials?
I believe I reviewed that in, I believe it was Officer Wright's testimony in federal court about that type of a technique. I don't train that, but they do.
So it's not a technique you're familiar with personally?
No, I don't use that technique. I use other techniques.
And how are you able to determine that that was happening in this particular situation? How do you know that Justin Smith was employing that tactic?
Well, basically, I know what it looks like when you do it. If I were to demonstrate, I could do that easily for you or anyone else. But I don't know how much pressure was applied, but it was given in a direction with a handcuff when he has it on the upper part of the hinge. There's only one way that handcuff can go once it's on the wrist. When you tilt that handcuff on the wrist, that's a pressure control.
And I believe you testified earlier that you would expect a reaction, a scream, a shout, an ow, something like that.
Oh, absolutely, I would.
And if in the video we hear Tyre screaming and moaning, that would be consistent with what you would expect, correct?
Not at that particular time. If it happened that time, I would expect it. But I think what I saw on the video was not at that particular time.
And you have extensive qualifications. We went over those earlier. You're not a doctor, are you, Mr. Zwickey?
No, I'm not.
Medical doctor.
No, I'm not.
Did you testify that if Mr. Nichols didn't respond to that iron wrist lock, which you don't teach, that you're not familiar with, but you listen to in some federal testimony, that if he didn't respond to that, he would be psychotic?
Objection, Your Honor. Mischaracterized the testimony. He actually gave two alternatives to why pain compliance would not work. One was psychotic, one was narcotics. Mischaracterized the testimony. Objection.
I'll allow you to ask the question.
Yeah, no, I testified earlier, if I recall. It would, in my mind, based on my experience, because I've dealt with people in similar circumstances, is if they didn't feel pain administered by either a handcuff or by a baton being struck as hard as it was against the radial nerve of an arm, that I would expect to see some pain. It would either be somebody was high on drugs, probably a narcotic, or secondly, they could be psychotic. They could have some mental problems. Those are the two conditions that would quickly enter my mind.
Psychotic.
Not that I'm making a diagnosis, but that's just what I would speculate that might be occurring.
In that, again, in that animated video, you talked a lot about how Justin Smith had the cuff on one wrist, left wrist, if I'm correct, and he couldn't let go of that. And I think you testified he never let go of that. Is that right?
Once the handcuff was on, that's correct. From my understanding, from what I saw on the videos, that's correct.
And he can't let go of that because it's tell us again why?
Because it's a dangerous weapon.
And so he should hold on to that even if his partner is beating the guy to death.
Beating him to death?
He should still hold on to that left wrist.
Well, if he's beating him to death and the officer can see he's beating him to death, and it would be his responsibility to try to stop that, yes.
Duty to intervene.
Correct, he has a duty for that.
I'm gonna pull up the video you've seen countless times. I'm gonna play for a little bit and then ask you a few questions.
Timestamps for the record.
Just the beginning of the poll cam video. Pause it. 2034-14. Is that the kick we've referred to numerous times already during your testimony as the first kick, the soccer kick,
Yes, ma'am.
would you agree with me that that's excessive force?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you agree with me that requires a duty to intervene?
If the officer saw it, absolutely it would be.
Gonna press play now. Pause at 20:34, 28. That's the second kick by Officer Martin while Officers Bean and Smith are holding Tyre Nichols. Would you agree with me that second kick is excessive force?
Absolutely it would be. If the officer saw it, would have a duty to report.
Thank you, Mr. Zwickey. I'm gonna continue playing the video. Pause it. 20:35:15. Did you just see that punch to the head by Martin?
I saw a punch. I can't tell you where it was landed because it's not clear enough. It's grainy. But I did see the punch, yes, ma'am.
Do you agree with me that punch was excessive force?
Yes.
And if officers saw it, would that require a duty to intervene?
If the officer saw it, and yes.
You press play again. Did you see another punch there?
I did.
You agree with me that is excessive force?
Absolutely.
And again, if officers saw that punch, that would require a duty to intervene.
If they saw it, yes.
Looking back at the video. Did you see that punch, 20:35:25?
I did.
Same questions, Mr. Zwickey.
Same answer, yes, ma'am.
Excessive force, duty to intervene.
That's correct.
Press play. Did you see that punch?
I did.
Same answer?
Same answer.
Did you see that punch?
I'm sorry, I looked away.
Are you aware that there's another punch right after that one to the head?
There was to the head region. Yes, that's all I could see.
Would
And
you
it-
agree that's excessive force?
Yes.
I'm gonna back up a minute and go back to the first kick and ask you an additional question about that one.
Sure.
And I'm gonna change videos, actually. I'm going to play the poll cam video with the audio from Officer Bean's body worn camera.
Okay.
Pause at 20:34:16. Again, that was that first kick, the soccer kick, as we've referred to it by Officer Martin, while Officers Bean and Smith are holding Tyre Nichols down. Did I understand your testimony on direct to be that after that kick, you described Tyre Nichols' movements as actively resisting?
After the kick, at what point?
After the kick? The movements he's making.
He's still resisting. Absolutely, he's not putting his hands behind.
Is he
The officers
resisting?
aren't just simply yelling to give me your hands when his hands are up, but he's trying to get them behind his back, and he's flipping from one side to the other. To me, that is active resistance, yes.
Or is he trying to survive?
I can't get into his mind or yours. At that particular point, he's still resisting. He's not complying with the officers.
Press button.
Get your hand! Give me a hand, turn around! Lay flat! Lay flat back there! Alright. Lay flat back there. Lay flat! Lay flat! Lay flat! Lay flat back there!
Pause at 20:34:37. Your testimony is that right now Tyre Nichols is still actively resisting,
Absolutely.
not just trying to survive those kicks to the head.
I'm telling you, it's active resistance, yes.
Is it your testimony when we see Tyre Nichols' body moving here from the force of the punch to the head, the excessive force punch, which we've already discussed, that that's him still actively resisting?
Yes, he is.
Down again! Down again! Bear crawl, man! Bear creek, got this!
to the scene, could you hear what he said?
No, I didn't pay much attention to what he
Beat
said.
that man's ass, did you hear that?
Yes?
You did.
No, I
You
heard
did.
what you just said.
I said beat that man's ass. Did you hear that or not?
I wasn't listening, didn't hear that, no ma'am.
We'll back it
But I
up.
heard what you said.
Hey, thank you. Did you hear it that time?
I did.
Did you see the officer run into the scene
I
as
did.
that was said?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know that to be Officer Haley?
Yes.
Did you see the kick he administered after saying that?
I saw him kicking, but I could not see where he was kicking.
But you saw him kicking.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Is that excessive force?
In my opinion, it would be, yes.
And again, anyone who saw that kick, that requires a duty to intervene.
Yes, if they saw it.
Did you see that kick from Officer Martin?
I did.
Again, does that kick constitute excessive force?
Yes, and it would be the same answer.
Duty to intervene.
Yes, if they saw it.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right.
Thank you, Richard.
Mr. Zwickey, I'm going to just go in the order in which my colleague asked the questions. You had stated to me on direct that you were being paid, and I think you said like the lawyers and like everybody else did
Yes,
here.
sir.
But then you were asked on cross-examination, who paid for the week you've been here in court? And I was surprised to hear you say that you've not been paid.
I have not been paid for this week in court.
Well, is there work that you've done on this file that you haven't been paid for?
Yes.
Okay, then explain to us capitalist pigs why it is that you would work and not be paid. It's not because I'm refusing to pay you or Poor Act's refusing to pay you. Why is that you're willing to work and not be paid?
Your Honor, may we approach?
All right.
Now, back to my question. I'll leave out the capitalist pig comment. Explain to this jury why it is you, with 50 years of experience, have not been paid.
Because I haven't asked to be paid.
Why is that?
Because my testimony to educate the jury on what I believe is the truth about this case is more important than money in my pocket.
Now, have you ever had lawyers come to you and say, hey, I want to hire you to testify on my case and review my facts? Have you refused to work for lawyers or people or cops?
Yes, sir, I have.
And what is your standard for refusing to work as an expert in your field?
One, I'm not going to lie for the attorney that hired me, or I'm not going to give testimony for the attorney as to what the attorney wants me to testify to. I can only testify to what I believe the truth is, based on my review and my years of experience, and I think that's fair. And if I believe that the officer did something wrong in a case, which I've done, most recently in Texas, where I think that the individual committed a crime, I would not take the case, because if I went on stand, I would testify to that.
You were asked about the iron wrist lock and then about how you, MPD trains it, and you did not train it. You were asked a series of questions about that. Do you remember that?
I do.
Were you here during Mr. Mills's testimony?
Yes, sir, I was.
Were you present when I asked Mr. Mills what an iron wrist lock was and what the effects of an iron wrist lock were?
Yes.
And what did he testify to?
I don't recall specifically, but I remember he testified about the wrist lock.
Did he testify that it was a pain compliance technique taught at MPD Academy?
Again, object to the leading.
All right, we'll sustain
I'll
it.
withdraw it.
Yeah,
I'm going to ask it a different way.
yeah.
What did Officer Mills testify regarding the iron wrist lock?
That it was taught in the MPD Academy.
Without going back to the video, you were shown what Ms. Headley referred to as the first soccer kick and then the second soccer kick.
Yes,
Based upon the time and based where Mills was, the OC spray, had it been sprayed by Mills at that time?
yes.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Mr. Perry?
No, Your Honor, no questions.
All right, Mr. Leffler?
No questions.
All right, State?
Nothing further.
All right, sir, those are all the questions we have for you. You can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome to stay, or you're free to go.
Thank you, sir.